Something extraordinary is taking place right now in the deep void of space, and it's moving toward us. An object from a different star system listed as 3i Atlas was once seen as just another space drifter floating through emptiness, but new information points to something much more disturbing. This visitor is not sticking to the route we predicted, it is shifting direction. And if the figures are accurate, if the speed up we are seeing keeps going, this object might line up with Earth by December 19th, 2025. Let me make this clear. This is not guesswork out of nowhere. Independent experts who study paths in space have shown that a steady extra push of only 0.02 millimeter per second squared over 50 days would change the object's speed by 86 meters per second. That may seem small, but in empty space, over distance and with the correct path, it can turn a faraway pass into a much nearer one. Near enough to make you ask if we are seeing normal forces or something else entirely. And there is more. Weak signals have been noted. Steady beats at 1.4 GHz, a frequency that is not by chance, a frequency that falls right in the area astronomers call the water hole, the calm part of the radio range where smart life might send notes. Could this be planning? Could this object be guiding itself, or are we seeing natural powers in ways we have never seen? Stay here, because what comes in the next few minutes will give you the whole view, the facts, the numbers, the meanings, and most of all, what experts are looking for in the weeks to come that will either prove this is the most common comet we got wrong, or the biggest find in human history. If this has you hooked like it has me, be sure to hit like and follow so you do not miss the next part. Leave a note saying where you are watching from, what time it is there, and what your feeling says about this object. And if you think others should see this, share it all over X, Reddit, in your chats, anywhere. This group grows because of you, and I am thankful for every person here. Now let's jump in. Right now, somewhere in the area between Mars and Jupiter, an object that should not be here is passing through our solar system. It is not junk from our own planet building. It did not start anywhere near our sun. This is a guest from the stars, and it was found on July 1st, 2025 by a group of scopes in Chile made to catch dangers coming at Earth. They listed it as 3i Atlas, the third proven interstellar object ever spotted. But here is what sets this one apart. It is not only going by, something is giving it a push. And that push, that speed up, cannot be explained by gravity by itself. A set of online posts by an independent expert ran the figures and reached a result that shocked many. The point is this: if 3i Atlas keeps a non-gravity speed up of about 0.02 millimeters per second, squared for around 50 days, it would pick up a speed shift of 86 meters. And if that speed shift is used in the correct way at the correct moment, the object could match up with Earth on December 19th, 2025. Let me say it again. Match up with Earth, not go by at a safe gap, but change its route to bring it nearer to our world. The post went on. It said this was not chance. It described the speed up as planned movement. It talked about possible signals, claimed talks at 1.4 GHz, links between this object and something near Mars. It drew a picture of planning, of aim, of something choosing to come here. Now, before you write this off as just another wild idea going around, let's check what we truly know. Because some of this is based on solid science. The object is real. Its path is hyperbolic, meaning it is not tied to our sun. It came from interstellar space and it is heading back out. Its nearest point to the sun, called perihelion by sky watchers, was around October 30th, 2025. And yes, there are notes of non-gravity speed up. That means this object is moving in ways gravity alone cannot cover. Non-gravity speed up is not magic. It is physics we do not fully get in this case. When an object in space goes off the path gravity predicts, something else is giving it a nudge. Usually that something is gas release. Comets do this often. Ice on the top turns to gas. Streams of gas shoot out and the object gets a small nudge. 0.02 millionm per second squared does not seem like much. It is about 1/50,000th of Earth's pull. But in empty space over days and weeks, small nudges build up. They grow. Here is where it gets really interesting. This is only the third proven interstellar object we have ever found. The first was Oumuamua in 2017, the long mystery that started endless talk. The second was Borisov in 2019, which seemed like a normal comet. Now we have 3I Atlas, and unlike the others, this one is acting in ways that make people ask hard questions. What is on the line here? If this is just a comet, even a strange one, it is still useful for science. A bit of another star system going through ours, giving hints about planet building elsewhere in the galaxy. But if the speed up is planned, if something is guiding this object, then we are looking at a whole different kind of event. We are looking at the chance, however small, of a made object from another life form. The aim here is easy. We will check the point. We will look at the facts, the guesses, the math, and the big jumps. We will see what we know against what we are thinking. And we will look forward to what is coming in late 2025 and early 2026 when watching could prove or break this idea completely. This is not about creating fear. It is about getting what is real, what is possible, and what is just talk. Space is full of things we do not get yet. Every so often something comes that tests our ideas. 3I Atlas might be one of those, or it might be a totally normal interstellar comet that is releasing gas in ways that seem odd to us. By the time we are done, you will be asking yourself a question. Normal comet, alien probe, or something in the middle? You will have the tools to make your own call. You will get the science, the math, the watching plans, and the bigger meanings, and you will know what to look for in the coming months. The universe does not care about our ease. It does not mind if we are ready for what it shows. For most of human time, we thought we were alone, that Earth was the middle of all, that the cosmos turned around us. Every big find since then has been a step to being humble. We learned Earth goes around the sun. We learned the sun is one of billions. We learned galaxies go on without end. Now we are learning that objects from other star systems can come to us. What happens when one of those guests does something we cannot easily explain? Let's look at what the facts really show, so you can decide for yourself if this point holds up or falls apart under check. The find happened on July 1st, 2025. A group of scopes in Chile, made to catch near-Earth objects, picked up something odd. At first, it looked like any other faint spot moving in the sky. But path math soon showed something amazing. The route was hyperbolic. A hyperbolic route means the object is not held by the sun. It is moving too fast to be caught by solar pull. It came from somewhere else, went through our solar system and will go again, heading back into the space between stars. This is the sign of an interstellar guest. The name 3I was given, marking it as the third interstellar object ever proven. Let's talk about the path. Perihelion, the nearest sun point, happened around October 30th, 2025. The gap was about 1.36 to 1.4 AU, and AU is the Earth-Sun gap, about 150 million kilometers. So perihelion put 3I Atlas somewhere between 203 and 210 million kilometers from the Sun, roughly inside Mars's path. The nearest Earth point is set for December 19th, 2025. The gap will be about 1.8 AU, roughly 268 to 270 million kilometers. To give scale, the moon is about 384,000 kilometers from Earth. This object will go by at a gap equal to about 700 times the Earth-Moon gap. Far, very far, outside any normal meaning of a close call. Now we come to the odd part. Avi Loeb, the debated Harvard sky expert known for his work on Oumuamua and the hunt for alien tech, noted something strange in a Medium post. Path data from the Jet Propulsion Lab and the Atacama Large Millimeter Array showed a shift from the expected route. The object was not where it should be if only gravity was leading it. The shift was about 4 arc seconds, a tiny angle change but big when tracking something over millions of kilometers. Loeb figured a non-gravity speedup of about 0.02 millimeters per second squared. He then used a momentum keep equation to see what could cause that. If gas release is the reason, meaning vapor streams pushing the object, then the mass loss rate must be large. His figure said at least 1/6 of the object's mass would need to turn to gas over about a month to make that level of speed up. Let's stop there. Non-gravity speed up is not strange by itself. Comets feel it all the time. When ice turns from solid to gas, it leaves the top and makes push. It is a rocket effect. Weak, but can be measured. The problem with 3I Atlas is the size. If the object is as heavy as some guesses say, tens of billions of tons, then losing 1/6 of that mass in a month should make a huge cloud of gas and dust, a visible coma, a tail, something we could see. Visually, 3I Atlas has shown some odd traits. Pictures show a jet shape, maybe pointing toward the sun instead of away, which is not common. The color of the object has also got notice. Notes say it is bluer than the sun, maybe showing ionized carbon monoxide instead of normal dust. These are hints, but they are not final. Comets can be strange. Interstellar comets, even more. What does the data not show? Loeb himself does not say the object is on an Earth hit path. He does not say it is planned moving toward us. The data show a speed up. They show a shift. They point to something interesting happening. The jump to Earth hit to planned guiding comes from elsewhere. It comes from the social media post that took Loeb's numbers and ran a figure. Here's the key difference. The data are interesting but not impossible to explain. A hyperbolic interstellar object with some gas release and a jet shape fits in known physics. It is on the odd side, sure, but not impossible. The question is if the data back the bold point that 3I Atlas is actively changing its course toward Earth, or if someone has taken real data and added layers of guess to reach a big end. So far, what we have is this: an interstellar object, real and proven, a path that brings it fairly close to Earth but still very far, a non-gravity speed up that could be gas release or could be something else, and a figure that shows in math how a small, steady push over 50 days could lead to a big speed change. Is that enough to say the object is matching up with Earth? That is the question we need to answer by checking the math and the guesses that turn data into story. Let's do the numbers. The social media point starts with a simple rule from normal physics. Speed up times time equals speed change. If you have a steady speed up of 0.02 millimeter per second squared, and you keep it for 50 days, what speed change do you get? 50 days is 4,220,000 seconds. Multiply that by 0.02 millimeters per second squared, which is 2x10, there's 5 meter per second squared, and you get about 86.4 megacurie s. That is the delta V, the change in speed. The math is right. There is no argument about the numbers themselves. Now let's talk about position change. If you apply a steady speed up over time, you do not just change speed, you also change place. The position change under steady speed up is 1/2 sine y speed up, time squared. Put in the numbers, 1/2 y, 2x10 y 5 -2, 4.32 x 10 x. 2, you get about 1.87 x 10 to rate mim. That is 187,000 kilometers, roughly half the gap from Earth to the Moon. So yes, the numbers matter. A small but steady push over 50 days could shift an object's path by hundreds of thousands of kilometers. In path mechanics, that is big. It could change where and when an object crosses a certain line. It could change a miss gap. It could, in theory, turn a far pass into a closer one. But here is where guesses start to add up. The figure assumes the speed up keeps going without stop for 50 days. Does it? We do not know. The speed up was measured at a certain point near perihelion. If it lasts for weeks or months is not clear. Gas release usually changes with sun gap. As an object goes away from perihelion, sun heat drops, and so does the rate of ice to gas. The push might get weaker or stop. The figure also assumes the speed up is in exactly the right direction. Direction counts as much as size. If the push is to the side relative to Earth's path, it might change the path plane but not much change the miss gap. If it is forward speeding the object, it changes when it arrives. If it is backward slowing it, same thing. If it is toward or away from the sun, it changes the path shape and size. Without knowing the direction of the speed up, putting the speed change into a path, guess is guessing. Timing is another key guess. The object has to apply the push at the right moment and in the right way, so the new path crosses Earth's path when Earth is really there. Earth moves at about 30 km/s around the sun. It covers huge gaps in days. Hitting a moving target needs exact timing and direction. A shift of 187,000 kilometers might move the crossing point, but if Earth is not there at that time, the hit does not happen. Then there is the question of energy and mass. If the object is as heavy as guesses say, tens of billions of tons, keeping a push needs huge energy. If it is natural gas release, the mass loss rate must be high, as Loeb figured. If it is made, it means a drive system able to do long push. Either way strains belief unless we see proof. Finally, there is the issue of other effects. Space is not empty. Sunlight push, planet pulls, solar wind, even the Yarkovsky effect can all change a small body's path. The simple figure assumes these are small or balance out, but in truth, they add noise and doubt. A pure 50-day push is an ideal. Let me use a comparison. Imagine you are driving on a road. You know you can speed up 60 kilometers to reach more than now. That is like knowing your delta V. But joining the right lane at the right time to reach a certain exit needs more than speed. You need to know where the exit is, how fast others are going, when to speed up, and which way to turn. The numbers of speed change are one thing. The shape and timing of path mechanics is another. The social media edition assumes the speed up was in a useful way for Earth match. We do not have proof for that. The data show some speed up, but not its direction relative to Earth's path. The point adds that this speed up is planned and Earth aimed. That is a view put on the data, not from it. Here is what we know against what is guessed. We know there is a non-gravity speed up. We know it is small, but can be measured. We know the object's path brings it fairly close to Earth in December. We guess the speed up lasts for 50 days. We guess it is aimed in the right way. We guess the timing matches. We guess no other things get in the way. And we see all that as planned moving toward Earth. Each guess is a link in a chain. Break one link and the whole point falls. The question is not if the math is right, it is. The question is if the real world fits the guesses. The official numbers are clear. According to NASA and the European Space Agency, 3I Atlas will pass Earth at a gap of about 1.8 AU on December 19, 2025. That is about 268 to 270 million kilometers. To give scale, 1 AU is the average Earth-Sun gap, roughly 150 million kilometers. So 1.8 AU means the object will be nearly double Earth's own gap at its nearest. This is not close, not by any measure used in planet safety. An object is seen as maybe dangerous if its path brings it within 0.05 AU of Earth, about 7.5 million kilometers. 3i Atlas will pass it more than 30 times that limit. NASA and ESA have both said clearly that the object is no danger to Earth. So how do missed gaps work in path mechanics? When an object comes on a hyperbolic path, its route is set by its speed, direction, and the pull effects it feels. The missed gap is basically the nearest point figured from the object's path relative to Earth's spot at a given time. For 3i Atlas, that figure gives 1.8 AU on December 19th. Now let's answer the main question. Could a speed change of 86 res much change that missed gap? The answer is yes and no based on setting. Yes, in idea, a delta V of 86 ms over 50 days could shift the object's path by hundreds of thousands of kilometers. As we figured before, the position change could be around 187,000 kilometers. That is not zero. In path mechanics, small speed changes can make big position changes over time, especially if done early in the path. But no, turning a 270 million kilometer miss into an Earth hit would need far more than 86 ms, unless the direction and timing were perfect. The object is moving at roughly 60 km or 60,000 nanometers. 86 km is less than 0.15% of its total speed. To change the path enough to shift the miss gap from 270 million kilometers to zero, you would need either a much bigger delta V or a nearly perfect match of push direction and timing. The direction of the push is key. Imagine the object's path as a line through space. If you push to the side perpendicular to the speed line, you change the path plane. You might shift the route by 100,000 kilometers to the side, but that does not always bring it nearer to Earth. If you push forward or backward along the speed line, you change the arrival time. The object might reach the Earth-Sun plane sooner or later, but again, that does not promise a closer pass unless Earth is in that exact spot. If you push toward or away from the Sun, you change the path shape, the size, and the perihelion gap. There is an idea in path mechanics called the B-plane. It is a made-up plane at right angles to the coming path used to figure where an object will cross relative to a target. Think of it like a target board. The center is Earth. The object's path goes through the plane at some point, and the gap from the center to that point is the miss gap. A small speed change can shift where on the plane the object crosses. But moving from the outer part of the board to the center needs a very certain push. Without knowing the direction of 3i Atlas's non-gravity speed up relative to Earth's spot, we cannot say how much the miss changes. The social media point assumes the push is in the right way. That is a big guess. There is also the matter of the object's mass. Guesses say 3i Atlas is heavy, maybe more than 33 billion tons, with a size of several kilometers. Moving a body of that size is hard if the way is natural gas release. You are basically trying to guide a mountain by turning ice off its top to gas. If the way is made, it means an engine or drive of huge power. Either way, the physics is tough. NASA and ESA experts, who have the full path data and models, have said the object is not on an Earth hit course. They add in doubts, other effects, and possible non-gravity forces. Their models show a safe pass. If the numbers pointed otherwise, if there was even a small chance of hit, the warnings would be loud. Planet safety networks exist to find and track maybe dangerous objects. 3i Atlas is not on their danger list, so the miss gap check comes to this. The shape and timing make an Earth hit very unlikely now. The object would need a much bigger speed change in a very certain direction at a very certain time to turn a 270 million kilometer pass into something bad. The numbers might look scary if you look only at the delta V math, but the full view, the path mechanics, the timing, the miss gap, all point to a far pass. That does not mean the object is not interesting. Far from it. The non-gravity speed up, the odd traits, the fact that it is an interstellar guest, all make it useful for science. But the Earth-hit idea, the point that it is matching up with us, stays guessing. The next few months are key. From now to early 2026, 3i Atlas will be under strong watch. Scopes around the world and in space are already on it. Perihelion pass was around October 30th, 2025, when the object was nearest the Sun. Now it is going out, moving toward its December 19th near Earth point. This is the watch window, and it will not last forever. Once the object goes past Earth and heads deeper into the outer solar system, it will fade from sight. The main tools in this plan include some of the strongest machines humans have made. The Hubble Space Telescope can take high-detail pictures in visible and ultraviolet light. The James Webb Space Telescope, with its infrared power, can find heat signs and check the makeup of any gas or dust around the object. Ground scopes like the Very Large Telescope in Chile and the Keck Observatory in Hawaii are also helping. Radioscopes are listening for any odd outputs, and nearer Mars orbiters might get a look as 3i Atlas goes fairly close to the red planet. There is also a nice match. On November 4th, 2025, the European Space Agency's Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, called JUICE, will pass within about 64 million kilometers of 3i Atlas. That is not close enough for a special pass, but JUICE's tools might gather data from that gap. Every piece helps. Loeb and other experts have set out testable points. These points depend on if the non-gravity speedup is from natural gas release or something else. If gas release is the cause, the mass loss should be big. Loeb's figure said at least 1/6 of the object's mass turning to gas over roughly a month. That should make a huge cloud of gas and dust, a visible coma, likely a tail stretching back as solar wind pushes the bits away. So the first point is simple. If the speedup is natural, scopes should find a large gas and dust cover. Light split should show volatiles like water, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, or methane. The object should act like a comet, showing all the normal signs of ice-to-gas driven work. But if no large cloud shows, if the mass loss is small or none, then the natural gas release idea weakens. That would be a big result. It would mean the speed up comes from something else, something that does not need throwing out large material. That is when non-natural or tech ideas start to seem more likely. The measures to watch include path residuals, the gaps between where the object really is versus where a pure gravity model says it should be. These residuals show the size and direction of any non-gravity forces. Over the coming weeks, as more watches add up, sky experts will fine-tune the path and measure the speed up with more accuracy. Light split is another key tool. By breaking the light from the object into its parts, experts can find the molecules and atoms there. 3i Atlas has already been noted for its odd color, said to be bluer than the sun. That could point to ionized carbon monoxide, a sign of some comet types, or it could mean something else. Detailed light split will tell us more about the makeup and if it matches known comet chemistry. Pictures are important too. The shape of any coma or tail, the form of jets, the presence of uneven parts, all give hints. Some notes mention an anti-tail, a jet pointing toward the sun instead of away. That is unusual but not unknown. Comets sometimes show forward features due to shape or spin. High detail pictures will make clear if what we see fits natural ways. Then there is radio sky study. The social media posts say the object was sending 1.4 GHz beats, claimed talks or course fix signals. That is totally not proven, but radioscopes will listen anyway. If there are any odd outputs, whether at 1.4 GHz or any other, they will be found and checked. Radio from a comet is rare but possible, usually tied to plasma interactions. A strong formed signal would be a whole different thing. There are problems with this watch plan. Timing and shape matter. Around perihelion, the object was close to the sun in the sky, making it hard to watch without sunlight blinding. Now, as it goes away from the sun and toward Earth, sight gets better, but by late December, after the near point, it will start fading. As it goes farther from both the sun and Earth, the window is short. Weather, scope time, money, and teamwork all play parts. Not every scope can watch every night. Data need to be processed, checked, peer-reviewed, and shared. Science moves slower than social media. The points might spread in hours, but the watches take weeks or months to prove or disprove. Still, this is an exciting time. We are watching a guest from another star system in real time. The same scopes that look at far exoplanets, that check the chemistry of alien airs, are now turned to something going through our own area. It is a rare coming together of chance and tech. By early 2026, we should have answers. If 3i Atlas acts like a comet, showing big gas release, a coma, a tail, and light signs of volatiles, then the natural reason holds. The non-gravity speed-up was just a comet doing comet things, maybe more strongly than usual because of its interstellar start and makeup. But if the watches come back showing small mass loss, no big cloud, and yet the speed-up keeps or shows direction not matching jetting, then we have an issue. Not a crisis, but a science puzzle that does not fit our models. That is when the talk changes. That is when the strange ideas, the ones we need to check next, stop being just talk and start needing real thought. What if the speed-up is not natural? What if 3i Atlas is not just a comet doing comet things? What if it is something built, something sent, something made? Loeb and his team have shared a paper asking the question straight. Is the interstellar object 3i Atlas alien tech? It is not a joke. It is a serious science question framed in what we can and cannot rule out. The paper thinks about the chance that the object is a tech item, maybe a probe from another life form. Why would anyone say this? Several things come together. First, the non-gravity speed-up. If it is not gas release, or if the gas release reason does not hold due to the needed mass loss rate, then we need other ways. Second, the size and mass guesses. A large, heavy object feeling measurable speed-up means big energy and momentum move. Third, the path. Loeb notes that the object's way through the inner solar system, its timing, and its match with the plane of Earth's path are not common statistically. Not impossible, but unlikely if it is a random guest from interstellar space. The energy side is worth checking. For an object with a mass of tens of billions of tons to keep a speed up of 0.02 millimeter per second squared for weeks, the needed push is large. Force equals mass times speed up. Put in 10 to 13 kilograms and 2 watt and 10 by S2 and you get a force of about $200,000 newtons. That is the push of a small rocket engine kept going all the time. If this is natural, gas release must give that push. But as we talked, the mass loss rate needed is huge. If this is made, what kind of drive could do it? Solar sails come to mind. A large shiny surface pushed by sunlight could make push without throwing mass, but solar sails are not strong unless they are very large and very shiny. Figures say a sail big enough to speed this mass would need to be kilometers across and aimed right. Or maybe something more strange, an ion drive, a fusion engine, or a tech we have not made yet. The 1.4 GHz beats, mentioned in the social media post, add another part to this idea. 1.4 GHz is important in the hunt for alien smart life because it matches the hydrogen line, a natural frequency from neutral hydrogen atoms. It is sometimes called the water hole in radio sky study, a quiet band in the radio range where signals could go through space with little trouble. If a smart life form wanted to send a signal, 1.4 GHz would be a good choice. It is the same everywhere. Any life with radio sky study would know it. But here is the issue. There is no public proven find of such beats. From 3i Atlas, radioscopes watch the sky all the time, and if there was a strong formed signal from the object, someone would have seen. The point stays not proven, floating in guess land. Still, let's think about the idea. Suppose 3i Atlas is a made probe. What would its goal be? Checking? Watching? Maybe it has been floating through space for millions of years. A leftover from a long-gone life form still doing its set job to check star systems. Or maybe it is active, on purpose changing its course to study interesting spots. Could it on purpose guide itself to cross Earth? The short answer is yes, if it has the ability. A probe with a working drive could, in idea, change its path, but the delta V needed to turn a 270 million kilometer miss into a real cross is far more than 86 ms. You would need speed changes on the order of km/s used with exact timing and direction. That is a lot of push, kept over a long time. Loeb has also talked about the dark forest idea in relation to 3i Atlas. The dark forest thought, made known by the sci-fi writer Liu Cixin, says the universe is full of life forms, but they stay quiet to avoid being found by maybe bad neighbors. Showing you are there could bring ruin, so everyone stays hidden, lurking in the cosmic dark forest. Loeb guesses that if 3i Atlas is a probe, its ways might show a careful approach, watching from far instead of direct touch. This is highly guessing. Many layers of guess are put on each other. Guess 1, the speed up is not natural. Guess 2, it is made. Guess 3, it is controlled by smart life. Guess 4, that smart life is careful or planned in its way to Earth. Each guess lowers the chance of the whole picture. What would count as a clear sign for tech start? Several things. Unexpected radio outputs, especially formed signals with info. Non-gas push signs, meaning kept speed up with no matching mass loss or gas out. Very low mass loss with high speed up, breaking rocket physics unless there is outside energy. Highly shiny surfaces pointing to made materials instead of natural rock and ice. Changes in turn or aim that cannot be explained by spin wobble. If watches find any of these, the talk changes right away. Suddenly, the strange idea is not edge guess anymore. It is a real reason needing check. But if none of these signs show, if the object keeps acting like a weird but natural comet, then the tech idea fades back. The stakes are huge. If the probe picture is true, it would prove we are not alone. It would mean another life form reached a tech level to send objects across interstellar space. It would bring questions about their plans, their time alive, their end. Are they still out there? Did they send one probe or 1,000? Is 3i Atlas old or new? But the stakes being high does not make the idea true. Big points need big proof. And right now the proof is unclear at best. The non-gravity speed up is real, but it is not proven non-natural. The path is odd, but not impossible for a random interstellar object. The radio beats are not proven. The lack of a huge coma is interesting, but not final. Science goes by testing ideas, by making points and checking them against watches. The tech idea makes points too. No large gas cloud because no gas release. Kept speed up even as the object goes away from the sun because the drive is not sun-based. Possible radio outputs or other non-heat signs. Over the next few months, watches will test these points. If the object turns out to be natural, we still learned something good. We pushed the edges of comet science, checked the chemistry and moves of interstellar guests, and tested our models against a hard case. If the object turns out to be made, well, that is the biggest find in human time. Either way, the watches coming in late 2025 and early 2026 will be amazing. The post showed up on X in mid-October 2025. An independent expert not tied to any big group set out a series of points. The core was simple. 3i Atlas is speeding up. If it keeps speeding up at 0.02 millimeters per second squared for 50 days, it will gain 86 mx of speed. That speed change used in the right way at the right time could line the object up with Earth on December 19th, 2025. Then the points grew. The expert said the speed up was not random, it was planned. The object was moving on purpose, fixing course, aiming at Earth. There were notes of 1.4 GHz beats found near Mars, claim talks, links between the object and something else. The story went from interesting science oddity to alien probe is aiming at us. Let's break this down part by part. The data, the part about the speed up, that is real. Loeb reported it. It is based on path watches from trusted sources. The numbers, the figure that 0.0 mu per second squared, 50 days, 0 hours, 86 mass, that is correct. 2. Basic physics, no mistakes there. But then come the guesses. The guess that the speed up lasts exactly 50 days. The guess that it is aimed toward Earth. The guess that the timing matches perfectly with Earth's spot in path. None of these are proven, they are additions, thoughts based on limited data. The view, the point that the object is lining up with Earth, that is where data stops and story starts. Lining up means plan. It means the object is guiding itself on purpose toward our world. There is no proof for that. The misgap is still 270 million kilometers. NASA says no danger. The shape does not back a cross picture unless many unlikely things match. The 1.4 GHz beats not proven. No big scope has proven radio outputs from 3i Atlas. If such a signal was there, radio sky experts would be on it. The lack of proof does not mean the beats did not happen, but it means we cannot take them seriously without proof. So, how did this story get big? Social media loves doubt and excitement. A science oddity, a hole in our knowing, becomes good ground for thought. People take the data, add their own views, and make stories. Those stories spread faster than the science because they are more fun. An alien probe aiming at Earth is a better title than Comet show's odd gas release. The mind side here is interesting. Humans look for patterns. We see links even when none are there. We are pulled to stories that give meaning to mess. An interstellar object with an unexplained speed up is not just a comet acting odd. It is a sign, a note, maybe a warning. Wild framing makes this bigger. Once the seed is planted that the object might be made, every unclear part becomes proof. The lack of a visible coma, proof it is not a comet. The odd color made materials. The path, planned aiming. The lack of official proof of the radio beats, a cover-up. The story becomes self-keeping, safe from counter. This is not new to 3i Atlas. Oumuamua went through the same loop. A weird object shows up. Experts say they do not fully get it, and the net fills the holes with aliens. Sometimes the experts themselves, like Avi Loeb, lean into the thought publicly, saying we should think about all chances, including tech starts. That open way is good in science, but it also gives fuel for big talk. Main media picks up the story, often in simple or too much form. Titles yell alien probe, even when the piece itself is more careful. The New York Post ran a story quoting Loeb on 3i Atlas, framing it as a possible alien engine. The framing counts. Most people do not read past the title. They take the idea that experts think it might be aliens, and that becomes the story. The duty in science talk is to separate here is what the data show, and here is what someone adds. The data show a non-gravity speed up, full stop. The addition to Earth cross, to planned moving to alien tech. Those are views put on top. They might be true, but they are not set facts. There is a balance to find. On one side, we should not write off chances too soon. Science grows by thinking about ideas that seem unlikely. On the other side, we should not treat thought as equal to proof. The point that 3i Atlas is lining up with Earth is not on the same level as the watch that it has a non-gravity speed up. One is measured, the other is thought. Social media mixes that difference. Everything becomes a point, a thought, a chance. The clear to unclear ratio falls. People fight about if the object is a danger without agreeing on what the data really say. Wrong info spreads, not because people lie, but because the line between data and view gets fuzzy. So where does that leave us with a bigger question? Are we ready for the chances? What if the object is natural but really weird, pushing the edges of comet physics? What if it is made, proving we are not alone? How do we as a group handle info in a world where truth and thought live on the same feed? The social media story around 3i Atlas is a case study in how science and stories meet. The question stays, what happens if the story turns out to be more than story? If the object really did something unexpected, let's do a thought game. This is picture check, not guess. What if all the guesses held? What if 3i Atlas somehow changed its course enough to cross Earth? What would that mean? First, the sizes. Size guesses for 3i Atlas go from a few hundred meters to several kilometers across. Some figures based on its light and guessed shine say it could be flyby or even bigger. Mass guesses go over 30 billion tons, maybe more. That is a mountain flying through space. Interstellar objects go fast. When they enter a solar system on a hyperbolic path, they are not held by the sun's pull, so they do not slow much. 3i Atlas is going at roughly 60 kilometers, 60,000 kilometers, that is over 216,000 km/h. At that speed, kinetic energy grows a lot. The kinetic energy rule is simple. Energy equals 1/2 mass, speed squared. Let's use a safe guess. Say the mass is 30 billion tons, which is 3x 10^13 Greek. Speed is 60,000 km as a middle guess. Put those in. 1, 2, 3x 10^13. 6, 10, 4. 2 gives roughly 5.4 is 1022 joules. How much energy is that? A megaton of TNT lets out about 4.2x 1015 joules. Divide the kinetic energy by that and you get about 12.9 million megatons, 13 million megatons. For compare, the biggest nuclear weapon ever tested, the Soviet Tsar Bomba, was 50 megatons. This hit would be 258,000 times stronger. The results would be awful. An object of that size and speed would go through the air in seconds. It would not have time to slow or break up much. It would hit the ground at nearly full speed, letting out all that kinetic energy in a moment. The blast would be bigger than anything in human time, natural or made. Fires would start over continents. The shock wave would level everything within hundreds of kilometers of the hit spot. Earth shakes would go through the crust. If it hit an ocean, the big wave would be thousands of meters high, going at jet speeds. Across ocean areas, coast cities would be gone. But the right-of-way ruin is only the start. The energy would turn the hitter and a huge amount of rock, soil, or water to gas, sending it into the air. Dust and bits would spread worldwide in days, blocking sunlight. Temps would fall, plant growth would stop, crops would fail. The hunger that follows would kill more than the first hit. This is an end-level event, not the end of all life. Earth has lived through worse, but the end of most big animals, including humans. We are talking about something like the hit that killed the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. Now let's think about a less bad case. Suppose 3I Atlas does not hit Earth but goes much closer than the set 1.8 AU. Say it goes at tens of thousands of kilometers, roughly the gap to high orbit satellites. What happens then? A close pass would still be big. The object's pull would change Earth's path a bit, though likely not enough to see. Earth is much heavier, so the effect would be small, but the electric and plasma interactions could be interesting. If the object has a magnetic field or carries charged bits, there might be light shows, radio trouble, even short breaks to satellites. There is also the question of junk. If 3I Atlas is losing material either through gas release or braking, a close pass could put dust and bits into Earth's air. Meteor showers could get stronger. Spacecraft in low Earth orbit might be at risk from hits. The International Space Station, satellites, everything in orbit would need to be checked. From a science view, a close pass would be a gold mine. Scopes would get data at never-before detail. Radar could map the top. Light split could check the makeup in detail. If the object turned out to be made, the proof would be clear at close range. But let's go back to the main question. How much delta V would really be needed to turn the set miss into a cross? The miss gap is 270 million kilometers. To close that, you would need to change the path a lot. 86 ms is not nearly enough unless the shape is perfect. Let's do a rough guess. The object's speed is 60 km/s. A 1% change in speed is 600 mph. That might shift the miss gap by a few million kilometers based on direction and timing. To shift it by 270 million kilometers, you would likely need a change of several km/s used over weeks or months in exactly the right way. That is not happening with 0.02 meters per second squared over 50 days. You would need a much stronger speed up kept much longer or used much earlier in the path. The numbers do not back a cross picture based on the reported speed up. So the worst case thoughts are scary. But the chain of guesses needed to get there is long and weak. The object would need to have a drive able to huge push. It would need to have started moving months or years ago, not just near perihelion. It would need exact knowing of Earth's spot and speed. And even then, the energy is hard. If the object were made and aiming at Earth, what would the plan be? Watching seems most likely. Why send a probe across interstellar space only to break it and the target in a crash? A pass makes more sense. Get close enough to study the planet, its air, its life, maybe even its tech signs, then go on. Or maybe it is not aiming at Earth at all. Maybe the path is by chance, the result of moves in whatever star system it came from. We are reading plan into random, seeing patterns where none are. What watching and safety choices do we have? Not many now. Planet safety systems like NASA's DART are made for smaller, slower objects that we find years ahead. An interstellar intruder going at 60 km/s found only months before nearest point is beyond our now ability to push away. Early warning networks help. If we find the object years ahead, we might have time to plan a trip, maybe even cross it for study. But 3I Atlas was found in July 2025. Only months before its perihelion and Earth point. That is not enough time to set a push-away trip. So the worst-case thought, push is ready. But it does not set our now state. The truth is that 3I Atlas is no danger according to every trusted path figure. The miss gap is safe. The path is well known. Groups are watching it, but they are not raising alarms. The wider meanings of interstellar objects go beyond any one guessed. Three-Eye Atlas is only the third proven interstellar object ever found. The first was Oumuamua, found in October 2017. The second was Borisov, found in August 2019. Before that, we had no direct proof that objects from other star systems ever came to ours. Now we know they do, and likely more often than we thought. The study of interstellar objects gives a special view into the universe beyond our solar system. These are bits of other worlds, junk from planet systems light years away, brought to our door. By checking their makeup, form, and ways, we can learn about the chemistry and moves of star systems we will never go to. Oumuamua was a mystery from the start. Its long shape, wobble spin, and small non-gravity speed-up started endless talk. Was it a comet, an asteroid, something else? Light split showed no coma, no tail, no clear signs of gas release, yet it sped up as it went away from the sun, pointing to some force beyond pull. Avi Loeb famously said, "It might be a light sail, a thin, shiny sheet pushed by solar light." Most sky experts disagreed, saying instead it was a comet with odd traits, maybe made of hydrogen ice or nitrogen ice that turns to gas without leaving a visible cloud. Borisov was different. It looked like a normal comet. It had a coma, a tail, light signs of water, and carbon monoxide. It acted exactly as expected for an icy body going close to the sun. In many ways, Borisov was comforting. It showed that not every interstellar object is weird. Some are just comets from somewhere else. Three-Eye Atlas falls between these ends. It shows some comet traits, but also oddities that do not fit standard models. The non-gravity speed-up is stronger than expected for its size. The mass loss rate, if due to gas release, is extreme. The color and possible anti-tail add more quirks. What does this tell us about interstellar objects in general? That they are varied. That we cannot assume they all act like solar system comets or asteroids. That makeup, form, and past change based on where and how they formed. The moves of interstellar objects also test our knowing. How often do they come? Where do they come from? Are they thrown from planet systems by pull interactions with giant planets? Or are they leftovers of star forming material that never came together into planets? Find rates say interstellar objects go through the inner solar system more often than we thought. With better scopes and more sky checks, we are finding them. Three-Eye Atlas was spotted by the same system that looks for near-Earth asteroids. Future checks like the Vera Rubin Observatory will find many more. We might be finding 1 or 2 per year in a decade. This brings us to planet safety. While Three-Eye Atlas is no now danger, the fact that extrasolar bodies can cross our solar system means future ones might come closer. Find and answer ability must get better. Planet safety against interstellar objects is harder than against solar system objects for several reasons. First, speed. Interstellar objects go much faster, tens of kilometers instead of a few. That gives less time to act and makes pushing away harder. Second, surprise. We do not know their paths until they are already here. Solar system objects follow set paths we can track for years. Interstellar guests show up suddenly. Third, limited watch windows. They go through fast and fade from sight. We might have only months to study them. Trip design becomes key. If we find an interesting interstellar object years before its nearest point, could we send a craft to cross it? The answer is maybe, based on the path and our ready. Trips like the European Space Agency's Comet interceptor are made to answer fast to short targets. More trips like that, set in space waiting for a target to show, could change our ability to study interstellar guests. Better radar and light tracking would help too. Better path measuring means more exact paths, which means earlier find of possible dangers and better detail of interesting objects. Smart computers can help sift through huge data sets to flag oddities and guess paths. There are tech side benefits too. Modeling high-speed objects gets better our knowing of hit physics, which has uses in material science and planet rock study. Tracking faint, fast-moving objects pushes the limits of tools and data work. These steps help not just planet safety, but sky study more. Now think about the meanings if 3-Eye Atlas turns out to be made. The effect on the hunt for alien smart life would be huge. SETI has been listening for radio signals for decades, looking for planned sends from other life forms. But an interstellar probe, a real object sent across the galaxy, is a different way of talk and check. It points to a life form that built machines, sent them into space, and either still lives or has left these leftovers. If 3-Eye Atlas is natural but weird, the meanings for solar system forming and extrasolar chemistry are still big. It means the range of small body physics is wider than we knew. It means our models of comets, asteroids, and small planets need to cover a bigger range of makeups and ways. Either way, 3-Eye Atlas is a wake-up. Whether the story ends with a proven comet or a change find, the object reminds us that our solar system is not alone. The galaxy is huge, full of countless stars and planets, and the space between them is not empty. Objects float, crash, escape, and wander. Some end up here. Public interest in alien probes can bring notice and money to space science, but it also risks wrong talk. Planet safety groups must handle both data and story, giving right info while seeing doubt. The line between good thought and big talk is thin. Experts like Avi Loeb walk that line on purpose, saying we should stay open to all chances. Critics say thinking about strange ideas without enough proof hurts public trust in science. The talk is good. It shows the pull between careful and curious, between safe and imagine. 3-Eye Atlas, no matter what it turns out to be, shows that pull. Smart computers are changing how we study the cosmos. Machine learning can handle huge data, find patterns, flag oddities, and make guesses faster and better than old ways. In 2025, several new AI tools for path measuring and path guess were let out, and they are already making a difference. One example is OrbNet, a neural net made by a team of schools and space groups. OrbNet takes path data, watches of an object's spot over time, and compares them to a pure pull model. It gives residuals, the gaps between seen and guessed spots, and flags objects with big shifts. OrbNet was trained on decades of asteroid and comet data. It learned what normal looks like and what does not. When it meets an object like 3-Eye Atlas with a measurable non-gravity speed-up, it does not just flag it, it points to possible causes based on patterns it has seen. Gas release, braking, crashes, light push, even unknown push. Why does this matter? Because small shifts in path can be missed or wrong, modeled by old ways. Humans fitting paths to data might miss small residuals, saying they are noise. AI, with its power to check thousands of parts at once, can pick patterns that get away. For 3-Eye Atlas, AI systems are fine-tuning the path, finding small push directions, and helping rule out or prove moving ideas. If the object's speed up changes over time, if it changes with sun gap, if it shows direction not matching gas jets, AI will catch it. Another tool called Astro AI was let out by the European Space Agency this year. It uses learning to guess future spots of near-Earth objects and interstellar guests. By training on past data and running millions of possible paths, it can guess how much fix would be needed to reach certain ends, like matching a certain target. Experts have used Astro AI to check 3i Atlas. They put in the scene speed up, the now path, and Earth's spot. The AI ran tests asking what speed change used when and in what way would lead to an Earth cross on December 19th. The answer came clear. The needed delta V is far bigger than 86 seismics. You would need several km used months earlier with exact direction. The social media point does not hold under hard modeling. This is where AI is great. It can check huge idea space, testing thousands of pictures in seconds. A human sky expert might figure one or two by hand. AI figures them all and finds which are possible in physics, but AI has limits. It is only as good as its input data. If the path watches have system errors, if the object's move is more complex than the model thinks, AI can give wrong results. It can flag oddities that are not real or miss small effects not in its training data. Also, AI can find links, but not always cause. It might see that the speed up links with sun gap pointing to gas release, but it cannot tell you for sure what chemical way is driving it. That needs light split, pictures, and human view. The role of AI in the 3i Atlas check is help, not final. It helps fine-tune paths, find patterns, rule out impossible pictures. But the end call, if the object is natural or made, comet or probe, rests on watchproof and science reason. There is another side to AI in sky study worth saying. Pattern find in radio signals. The hunt for alien smart life makes huge data. Radio scopes scan the sky, recording signals across millions of frequency lines. Most of what they find is noise, human-made trouble, or natural sky sources. Finding a real tech sign, a made signal from another life form, is like finding a needle in a haystack the size of a galaxy. AI helps. Programs trained to know patterns in noise can flag possible signals for human check. They can filter out Earth trouble, find frequency drifts matching a sender on a moving or orbiting thing, and find change patterns that point to info instead of random noise. If 3i Atlas were sending radio signals, the 1.4 GHz beat said in the social media posts, AI would likely find them. The fact that no big scope has reported such signals, despite all-time watch of the sky, is strong proof they do not exist. AI does not miss things like that. If there was a formed radio output from the object's way, it would have been flagged, checked, and either proven or explained as trouble. So the guesses from AI-driven path check are that by late 2025 and early 2026, we will have clear updates on 3i Atlas's path. The residuals will be measured with high accuracy. Any kept speedup will be mapped in 3 ways. Timing links with sun gap, spin, or other things will be found. And the moving idea, the point that it is guiding toward Earth, will be ruled in or out with sure. The open of AI tools also helps with public trust. Results can be done again, checked, and proven by others. Unlike closed models or behind doors figures, open source AI platforms let anyone with the data run their own check. This makes science open, making it harder for wrong info to take hold. Radio Sky Study has had a great year. In early 2025, the Breakthrough Listen project, a big plan hunting for tech signs, let out results from a check covering millions of stars across the 1.2 to 1.8 GHz band. This range includes the 1.4 GHz hydrogen line, a natural frequency seen as a top channel for interstellar talk. The check found no proven tech signs, but it set tight limits. If life forms are sending strong radio signals at 1.4 GHz within a few thousand light years of Earth, we would have found them. The quiet is useful. It points to either smart life is rare, they do not send in this band, their signals are too weak for us to find, or they are on purpose staying quiet. Steps in signal work, bigger arrays, and AI-driven filtering have made radio sky study more sensitive than ever. The Meerkat Array in South Africa, the Very Large Array in New Mexico, and the soon-done Square Kilometer Array will push sensitivity more. We are entering a time where finding faint radio outputs from nearby stars or passing objects is not just possible, but normal. This brings us to the social media point about 1.4 GHz beats from 3i Atlas. The point says the object sent formed signals near Mars, maybe links or course fix talks. The frequency choice 1.4 GHz is big. It is in the water hole, a quiet part of the radio range where galaxy background noise is low and signals can go far. If a smart life form wanted to send a signal others could find, 1.4 GHz would be a logical pick. It is universal. The hydrogen line is the same everywhere in the universe. Any life with radio sky study would know it. But here's the problem. No public peer-checked find of such signals from 3i Atlas exists. Radioscopes watch the sky all the time. Plans like breakthrough. Listen, look for short signals, bursts, and oddities. If 3i Atlas were sending 1.4 GHz beats strong enough to be found on Earth or near Mars, someone would have seen. Could the signals be too weak? Possible? Radio signals get weaker with gap by the inverse square law. At a gap of 1 or 2 AU, a weak sender might be below find limits, but then it would not be findable near Mars either, which is where the social media post said the beats came from. Could the signals be short, quick bursts that were missed? Also possible. Radio watches are not all the time. Scopes have limited watch time, and they are not always aimed at the right place at the right time. A short burst could slip by, but the lack of any other proof is a warning. If the beats were real, many scopes should have found them by now. The fact that none have points to the point being not backed. Let's check the likely from an build view. Suppose 3i Atlas is a made probe. What would it take to send a 1.4 GHz signal findable across planet gaps? Radio send needs power and an antenna. Power depends on the sender's design and energy source. An antenna's good work depends on its size and the signal's wavelength. At 1.4 GHz, the wavelength is about 21 cm. A good antenna might be a few meters across, small enough to fit on a craft. If the probe has a nuclear power or some other long-life energy, making a few watts or kilowatts of radio power is doable, and that is enough to be found at gaps of millions of kilometers with a sensitive receiver and an aimed antenna. But natural sources can also make radio outputs. Comets, when they meet the solar wind, can make plasma issues that send radio waves. Lightning and dust clouds, if they exist, could make wide radio bursts. These are rare but possible. So even if a radio signal were found from 3i Atlas, it would not auto mean the object is made. You would need to check the signal form. Looking for change, repeat. Frequency drift, anything that points to info instead of random noise. What should we look for in the coming weeks? Coming radio sky watch plans are aiming at the 3i Atlas area. Many scopes are teaming, covering different frequency bands and times. Data share plans will bring results in late 2025 or early 2026. SETI groups are also looking. Breakthrough Listen has added 3i Atlas to its target list. If there is anything odd in the radio range, they will find it. The role of radio sky study in this check is to either prove or rule out the tech sign idea. If no signals are found despite full watch, the point dies. If signals are found and proven, the talk changes big. Radio sky study is also a tool for clearing wrong. Many claimed oddities, from fast radio bursts, first thought alien signals, to mystery beats that turned out to be microwave ovens in the scope cafeteria, have been explained by natural or human sources. The field has a strong way of doubt and check. Whether 3i Atlas is natural or built, Radio sky study is a front tool for find. And for now, the quiet from the object speaks louder than any claimed beats. Let's put it all together. We started with a point, a big one, that 3i Atlas might be lining up with Earth. The point was based on real data, a reported non-gravity speedup of 0.02 millimeter per second squared, and a simple figure showing that 50 days of such speedup could make a speed change of 86 c or s. The numbers are right, the data are real. But the addition, the jump from there as a speed up to it is aiming at Earth, rests on guesses we cannot prove. The speed up would need to last, to be aimed in the right way, and to match with Earth's path spot at exactly the right time. None of that is set. We checked the path and miss gap. Official sources say 3i Atlas will pass Earth at about 1.8 AU, about 270 million kilometers on December 19th, 2025. That is far, very far. Turning that into a cross would need a much bigger speed change used over a longer time with exact timing. The numbers do not back the Earth lineup point. We checked. The natural reasons for the speed up. Gas release, the turning of ice to gas making push, is the default idea. But the needed mass loss rate is high, at least 1/6 of the object's mass over a month. If Loeb's figure holds, that should make a huge coma, something scopes have not clearly seen yet. The jury is still out. We also thought about the strange idea. Could 3i Atlas be made? A probe from another life form, the speed up, the size, the path, all raise questions. But there is no clear sign, no radio signals, no non-gas push signs, no final proof. The idea stays thought, interesting but not proven. The social media story made the point bigger, turning a science oddity into a story of alien cross. That story spread faster than the science, mixing the line between data and view. It is a reminder of how info moves in the modern time, how doubt becomes show, how pattern-looking minds fill holes with drama. We looked at what happens if the worst case were true. If the object somehow did cross Earth, the results would be awful, an end-level event. But the chain of guesses needed is long and weak. The object would need abilities, plan, and timing that are almost not possible. We also opened the view, linking 3i Atlas to bigger trends in space science, exoplanet air pictures, dark matter study, AI-driven path guess, radio sky study, all feed into the setting. This is not just about one object. It is about how we study the universe, how we find oddities, how we view data, and how we ready for the unexpected. So, what are the key points? First, 3i Atlas is a rare interstellar guest, useful for science no matter if natural or made. Second, the numbers behind the 86 ms speed change are right, but it does not auto mean Earth hit. Third, key unknowns stay. The direction of the speed up, if it lasts, the timing relative to Earth's path. Fourth, watches coming in late 2025 are key. Mass loss, path residuals, light split, radio watch, all will clear what this object is. Fifth, while worst-case pictures are big, they rest on many not proven guesses and official groups say no danger. Sixth, wider science fields meet on 3i Atlas, making it a center for many lines of check. Let's talk about the timeline. Perihelion happened around October 30th, 2025. The object has passed its nearest sun point and is now going out. November marks the startup of watch plans. The object is coming out of the sun's light, becoming easier to see. December 19th, 2025 is the nearest Earth point. This is the key date, the moment the social media point aimed at. By then, we will have weeks of added data. Early 2026 brings the out phase with a possible far pass of Jupiter around March. After that, 3i Atlas fades, going deeper into the outer solar system and finally back into interstellar space. What should you look for? Official path updates from NASA, ESA, and other space groups. Look for fine figures of the miss, gap, and any changes to the path. Pay note to light split results. Are volatiles found? Is there a coma? Does the color stay odd? Watch for picture reports. High detail photos from Hubble or JWST might show top traits, jets, or other forms. Check radioscope news. Any signal finds at 1.4 GHz or elsewhere would be huge news. Also, watch the difference between media stories and science words. How do main outlets report the story? Do they stress careful or big talk? How do experts answer the social media points? This play between public view and science strict is part of the story too. If nothing big shows by early 2026, what then? Does that mean the moving point was wrong? Almost sure. If the object acts like a comet showing set gas release that weakens as it goes away from the sun, if the speed up drops or stops, if no radio signals are found, then the natural reason wins. 3i Atlas joins the list of interesting but finally normal interstellar guests.